Hi again and welcome to Sports Jam. I'm John Jacobson.
And I'm Jay Wilcox. Plenty of highlights to get to in the show, plus later I'll introduce you to an outstanding Osseo high school wrestler, plus a new segment, Plays of the Week.
Let's start with gymnastics, where the Wayzata Trojans continue to build an impressive regular season resume. The Trojans were looking to stay unbeaten in the Lake Conference as they faced Hopkins. Coach Megan Johnson with a pretty young team at Hopkins this year. Grace O'Neill is their best all-arounder in this meet as well. She scores a team best 8.475 on the ball. Wayzata senior Hannah Roth is one of the best in the state. She puts together a great bars routine and scores a 9.475. Roth also won the floor exercise and the balance beam. Her beam score, a 9.425. Brenna Rugg is another of the Trojans' talented seniors. She lands a score of 9.025 on the beam. Wayzata defeats Hopkins 144.25 to 123.1. They finished third at Saturday's Wolfpack Invitational in Cottage Grove. We'll hear from the Trojans later in the show. In boys hockey, two old rivals that each have spent some time ranked number 1 in Class AA had their first of 2 Lake Conference meetings Saturday before a packed house at the Plymouth Ice Center. Wayzata and Edina. First period, Edina's Matt Nelson carries the puck up the right side, moves in and beats goalie Vaughn Aarons, and it's 1-0 Hornets. And that's the score after 1. Second period, and the Trojans' number 16, Eric Brannion, puts it out front, off the defenseman and in for a goal. The Trojans tie the game at 1. And they take the lead a short time later. Brian Mahood skates into the circle and beats goalie Andrew Rokal on the short side. Trojans lead at 2-1. Edina would later tie it at 2. Third period now, and off a face-off win, the puck comes to Alex Stevens, who scores from just inside the blue line. Put Wayzata back in front, 3-2. But with just over a minute and a half to go, the Trojans, or rather the Hornets, on the power play, and it's Edina's Dylan Malmquist tying it up. No scoring in overtime, and this game ends in a 3-3 tie. Armstrong and Cooper played Saturday in their annual tilt. The Falcons beat the Hawks for the third straight season, 5-2 the final. Jay Norgard and Cole Gergen scored 2 goals apiece for Armstrong.
Two teams that are no strangers to the state tournament met up in a key matchup of Class A hockey powers. Top-ranked Breck hosting number 5 Duluth Marshall. Scoreless in the second period, Lane Eliason redirects a shot in for a 1-0 Hilltoppers lead. Marshall goalie Alex Murray is excellent in this one. He makes 2 great saves here to keep Breck off the scoreboard. Late in the second period, Luke Pavlich scores a power play goal for a 3-0 Duluth Marshall lead. Breck finally wakes up in the third period. Chase Ellingson's shot deflects off a Marshall stick and gets in for a Mustangs power play goal. Breck with another power play, and again some puck luck as Michael Orkey's shot is redirected in by Hilltoppers defenseman, and it's 3-2, but the Mustangs can't get the equalizer. Duluth Marshall holds on for the win. Also, Benilde played host to Blake. A turnover cost Benilde as Nick Hughes sets up Charlie Hartwell for the shot and goal. Blake grabs a 1-0 lead just over a minute in. The Red Knights even things up. It's a shot from the point on net. They get a couple of tries. Mark Caskey cleans up with the rebound goal, and it's 1-1 in a high-scoring first period. Ben Newhouse springs speedster Spencer Nas with a perfect pass here. Nas scores on the breakaway. That makes it 3-2 Red Knights. Still in the first period, and Nas slides a pass to Jack Lawton, and he fights off a check to score. Benilde leads it 4-2 after the opening period. Second period, and Nick Austin's point shot is wide, but caroms right to Evan Fleming for the goal, and it's 5-2 BSM. In the third, Nas shows his speed and skill shorthanded. He nets a hat trick in this one as Benilde hits double figures in a 10-4 win.
Park Center's girls basketball team is keeping pace with Centennial in the Northwest Suburban Conference. 1 game behind the Cougars entering play this week. Maple Grove's girls were looking to bring the Pirates back to the pack of other teams in the league at their matchup at Park Center. Nice early bucket for the Crimson here. Haley Barker spins in the lane and scores for Maple Grove. Park Center is good at transition. Kayla McMorris with a long pass ahead to Danielle Schaub, who sets up Olivia Peterson for the Pirates layup. and they move the ball well in this sequence to Hannah Shaw to her sister Danielle, then back out to McMorris for the quick release three. 22 points on the night for the senior. Allie Winter gets the offensive rebound here for the Crimson, then sets up Mackenzie Barta for the 15-footer. Maple Grove is down 3. But then Park Center goes on an 11-0 run. McMorris, nice job here pulling up for the jumper to avoid the charge, knocks down 2. And then PC works the perimeter before Ann Simonette buries a 3. Park Center wins at 55-44 over Maple Grove. The Pirates host Centennial on Friday. In boys swimming, most teams took part in True Team sections over the weekend. More on that in a moment. But earlier in the week, many swam in dual conference meets, including Champlin Park, which hosted Anoka. 200 medley relay. Anoka's Chris Bolton anchors his team to a win in a time of 1 minute, 49.56 seconds. 200 free. Matt Hedman is the runaway winner for Anoka in a time of 1 minute, 49.49 seconds. 200 individual medley. Mike Rozier wins for the Tornadoes. Christian Maglis is second for the Rebels. And in the 50 freestyle, Cole Berkled takes first for Anoka. Champlin Park's Ben McBroom is second, with Casey Carlson third for the Rebels. Anoka wins the meet, however, 107-276.
As John mentioned, Saturday was competition day for True Team section meets for many of the local boys swimming teams. Section 5AA has the most teams from the area. Wayzata takes the section True Team championship with Maple Grove second and Mounds View third. Osseo is fourth, followed by Irondale, Cooper, and Park Center. Hopkins is in section 6AA. The Royals place fourth behind champion Minnetonka, then Eden Prairie, and Edina. And in section 7AA, Champlin Park takes fifth place. Forest Lake wins it with Anoka, Blaine, and Andover in the 2, 3, 4 spots. And John, the state True Team meet coming up on Saturday.
And good luck to the local teams in that. Coming up next on Sports Jam, a rivalry matchup on the wrestling mat, plus a key win for a local girls hockey squad. Welcome back to Sports Jam, and time to talk wrestling.
That's right, a big rivalry matchup. Armstrong and Cooper going head-to-head at the old Robbinsdale High School. This one is tied up at 6-6, heading into the 120-pound match. Cooper's Devin Mosby has a near-side cradle on James Young, and he gets JY's shoulders to the mat for a pin. As expected, Cooper does well in the lighter weights. Their success continues at 126 pounds as Rich Lee wins by fall against Armstrong's Emmanuel Nathan. It's 18-6 Hawks after this win and 21-6 after another win. But Armstrong takes over. Ben Highland uses the half Nelson to pin Trevor Karsten at 138. The Falcons pull within 21-12. At 160, Kais Asadik of Armstrong uses a fireman's carry for the takedown. He beats Michael Thone 10-2. Eddie Gonzalez takes a big one for the Falcons at 170 pounds, pinning John Jansen to give Armstrong the lead for good. Armstrong's Zach Rigg is rated 10th at 182, and he stacks Trayshawn Walker for the fall. Armstrong holds the Rumble Trophy at the end of the night with a 52-26 win.
Yeah, well, we got some young guys at the lower weights, and then we got our more experienced guys in the higher weights, so I expected it to go pretty much that way.
It's huge, yep. Just like Hutton said, it's the biggest rivalry we got, and just come out here, they're a section opponent. It's good to get that win.
Well, for many years, the section wrestling title in Section 5AA came down to Osseo versus Totino Grace. With the move to 3 classes, the Orioles and Eagles aren't in the same class anymore, but they met up as part of a quad meet at Grace. The match part of Takedown Cancer Night to raise money to fight the disease. Totino Grace's Michael Menth opens the match in style for the Eagles. He's able to turn a pretty good wrestler, Mitchell Lewis, into his back for the pin in the 106-pound match. And it's definitely a sign of things to come in this one. It's a good match at 113 pounds. Jackson Summers of Grace gets the reversal on Nicholas Carline on the way to an 8-6 win. It's 9-0 Eagles after 2 matches. At 126, Christian Ball of the Eagles gets the pin against Christian Smith. Totino Grace is in command 18-0. Osseo's Carson Brolsma, rated number 2 at 145 in Class 3A, dominates against Walker Thiele of Grace, who's ranked number 2 at 152 in 2A for a tech fall in the 152-pound match. But that's Osseo's only win of the match. Lance Bennick is rated number 1 in the country at 195. He bumps up to 220 and gets the pin as Grace rolls 61-4. We'll meet Osseo's Carson Brolsma coming up later in our Sports Jam Spotlight.
Maple Grove's girls hockey team is putting together a very solid season. The Crimson looked to edge closer to the top of the Northwest Suburban when they took to the ice to face conference leader Blaine at Fogarty Arena. First period, Crimson goalie Coco Francis makes a big save on Kirsten Falk, then stays with it and stops the wraparound try by Amy Schlegel and keeps the game scoreless. At the other end, Taylor Wente controls the loose puck and fires, but Michaela Tilton makes the stop for the Bengals, and it's 0-0 through the first period. Early in the second period, Riley Norman dumps it behind the Blaine net. Summer Thibodeau gets control. It's taken away, but Wente swoops in to steal it and score. And Maple Grove takes a 1-0 lead. Blaine answers here. Samantha Swanstrom gets possession and puts the puck in front. Number 2, Brianna Mahoney knocks the loose puck in from the scramble in the crease. This game's tied at 1-1 after 2 periods. Late in the third, and here's the winner. Wente's shot is blocked, but Sydney Sanford fires. Abby Larson gets a deflection goal. Maple Grove wins at 2-1 and added wins over Andover and North Metro as well last week.
From the ice to the basketball court, the Hopkins boys have just one loss to number 1 Apple Valley. They took on a former Lake and Classic Lake rival when they traveled to New Hope to take on Cooper. Amir Coffey on the breakaway for Hopkins. He throws down the two-handed slam. Kamali Chambers drives down the lane here, but his shot is rejected by Marquise Gray for Cooper. For the most part, though, the Royals' offense is unstoppable in the first half. Coffey with a catch-and-shoot three-pointer, and Hopkins leads 46-23 at halftime. Coffey finds Stefan Sharp cutting to the basket in the second half. Sharp scores 18 in the game. Hopkins reserves play much of the second half. Vincent Shahid drains a three-pointer, and the Royals win this one big, 84-48.
Totino Grace's boys basketball team is enjoying a very strong season, and they were battling for the North Suburban lead coming into their Friday night tilt with rival Benilde St. Margaret's. The Eagles on their home court. Totino is down 5 at halftime, but they start strong in the second half. Carlton Jam comes off the screen, hitting the 18-footer for 2. And then off an inbounds play, Colin Fleming knocks down a 3 from in front of his bench. A 13-0 run to start the second half for Grace. Red Knights finally get going. Sam Lynch hits the 3 from the corner. 12 points for him on the night. But Fleming has a big second half. He answers with another three-pointer. 14 points from him. Big play here for Benilde. Watch Nick Burney hit the open 3 from the corner, and he's fouled on the play. Burney's fired up, and the Red Knights pull within 1 at 46-45. A short time later, the Red Knights win the fight for the loose ball, and Lynch sets up Jack Hathaway in the paint for 2 as Benilde St. Margaret's wins 54-50. They are now 5-1 in the conference. The Eagles are 3-2. A good night, a good win rather for the Red Knights.
Yeah, especially on the road like that. Big victory for them. That puts them a half game ahead now of Columbia Heights for first in the North Suburban entering the week. So a lot of ball still to be played, though. Next up in our Sports Jam Spotlight, meet a wrestler who is following in the footsteps of some greats in the Osseo program. With 23 state individual champions, 7 high school All-Americans, and 18 state team appearances, Osseo Wrestling has a strong tradition. In this week's Sports Jam Spotlight, we meet an Orioles junior who is carrying on that Osseo legacy.
Wrestle, wrestle!
Osseo junior Carson Brolsma has had great success with an action-packed style.
I really like staying low and hitting low shots, and I'm comfortable rolling around and getting in weird positions, and I'm not just like a basic wrestler who likes to get ahead 2-0 and I just hold the match and I just stall. Like, I love scoring points, I love getting after it, I love having tough competition.
Brolsma started wrestling for the Orioles varsity as a 7th grader and qualified for the state tournament in 8th, 9th, and 10th grades, placing 5th last season. It's easy to see how much the state tournament means to him.
Nothing compares to walking out a tunnel with your student section up there cheering on for you, individually walking out there knowing that you have like the whole school behind you and all your friends are there and just in the front of thousands of people. It's honestly the best experience. That's what I live for in the sport.
Brolsma's really stepped up as a leader, too. It's not unusual to see him instructing and encouraging teammates in practice and in matches. Former teammate Adam Hammer showed Carson the way.
Adam was kind of this role when he was a sophomore, junior, senior, and then as he left, we had a talk, and he said he's passing it down to me, and like I feel comfortable with receiving it, and I love this team. Like I would do anything for it, and I wrestle on it, and I love coaching them, and I love hanging out with the guys, and it just becoming a leader is just a huge thing that I've wanted to do since ever I walked in this room, 7th grade, first practice.
That's been a work in progress and is certainly developed and getting kids to do the off-season work they should be doing. But in practice, nobody works harder than he does. You know, he's on track to break all the records at Osseo as far as wins, total wins, and it's because of what he puts in 365 days a year.
Carson's ranked second at 145 pounds in Class 3A. He's been helped by training at Pinnacle Wrestling in Shoreview in the off-season, where the competition can humble you in a hurry.
You don't want to be that cocky when you go to a practice room with Olympians, NCAA coaches, because basically when I go there, I know that a lot of those guys are better than me, and I just go there wanting to work hard, wanting to get better, and maybe I'll soon be up there with them. But you sure want to be humble, and you want to listen to the coaches and learn from them.
It's been a frustrating season for Osseo as a team. Section 5 3A runner-up last season, the Orioles haven't been able to put their best lineup on the mat because of injuries and other issues. Brolsma's hoping they can still make a run, though, in the postseason.
We didn't take it for granted. It's just bad stuff happens. We just got to work a whole lot harder to get to state, because that's our goal. That's our goal since last year's banquet. It's been our goal since 2007, since we qualified last, but I would rather get to team than individual way more. Just walking out of the tunnel with my team just sounds amazing.
With the rest of this season and then his senior year to go, Brolsma's rapidly climbing the list for all-time wins in the Tradition Pack Osseo program. 6 are ahead of him at this point, with friend and former teammate Hammer at the top of that list.
Just being where I am right now, it's amazing, because we have Fredericks, MacArthur, the Martinez brothers, who took a bronze at Olympics. We have McConville's, all of them, and to be up there, to be up in the wins with them is a great feeling, and to surpass them and get up there with Adam and pass Adam, it would feel amazing, just because of all the guys on the list. Like I'm passing like state champs, Olympic qualifiers. I'm not just passing like state entrants and stuff. Like it takes a lot to be on there, and I work pretty hard to be on there, and I'm excited I'm rising up to the top.
With more time on varsity and more matches now, current wrestlers are breaking many records of all-time greats. So can Carson Brolsma be considered one of Osseo's elite?
I hear from a lot of alumni that, you know, if only they could have had the chance to wrestle varsity starting 7th grade. And I think that would have helped the sport back then. But right now, I'd put him up against anyone, anyone on that wall. And you know, we've had alumni in to kind of, you know, take their shot at him, and some of them have, you know, they're a little bit older now, but they find out pretty quickly that he's the real deal.
Brolsma won all 3 matches in the quad meet at Grace, beating 2 top 5 ranked guys, then followed it up with a tournament championship at Elk River Saturday. He beat 3rd ranked Carson Kennedy of Northfield 7-1 in the finals. John talks gymnastics with the 3rd ranked Wayzata Trojans up next, followed by the debut of a new feature, Plays of the Week.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. The Wayzata Trojans have one of the best gymnastics teams in the state of Minnesota. They were 5th in the state last year, and they join us this week on the show with head coach Carly Jackson, along with gymnast Hannah Roth and Maddie Aaron. And Maddie, tell me about this season. What has this been like to compete with this team and this much talent?
It was probably the best experience of my life. I have amazing gymnasts and teammates, and they really encourage me, and the coaches always stay by my side and help me through whatever I need. So it was probably the best season, I have to say.
You guys have had some very solid team scores, as high as 146.6. How much fun is that to see when you guys are all on?
It's amazing. We're all so happy and excited when this happens, and I don't know, it's just fun.
There's still a month or so before sections come about. Are there still things that you guys know you can work on in practice and clean up and perfect and get better on?
I think we could work a little bit on our execution and like being a little more consistent. We're really good at our landings and all of that, and it's just good.
Congratulations on the good start so far. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Hannah Roth, terrific meet against Hopkins. Well over 37 on your all-around score. What was this like?
It was by far one of the best meets I've had, and I just try to beat myself every meet, so hopefully I can keep doing that.
Tell me about this year's team. You had a very good team last year, 5th in the state, as I mentioned. Does this team have the potential to be better, and you hope for a higher finish even at state?
Yeah, I think that we just have to stay consistent, and just as we encourage our team throughout the meet, I think we feed off of each other, so hopefully we can do better.
You have to get through sections before you get to state, although you're the favorite. I know you guys have to worry about that first. I mean, you talk about that, hey, we got to take one meet at a time?
Yeah, we basically just take one meet at a time, and we aren't really worrying so much about sections, but just our meet that we have on Saturday.
Congratulations, Hannah. Good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Coach Jackson, it's been a very special team. It's probably one of the more talented teams, and there have been a lot of good ones at Wayzata over the years, haven't there?
Yes, there has. In my 4 years here, every year we've gotten better, we've improved, and this team is phenomenal. I have nothing but good things to say about them, and I hope we can continue where we're heading.
You've already come in with a team that's got a lot of high skills. How can you improve, and what have you improved in?
Bars is our weakest event, and they knew last season that coming into this season, they needed to increase their difficulty on bars if we wanted to compete with Roseville and Northfield. They did that. We've improved. We had good beam, but we've added some more skills. We've put in a little bit more originality to set us apart from other schools.
Do you learn the most about your team from competition or from the hours you put in practice?
All the above. There are some people who compete better than they train, and vice versa. We're figuring it out and how they work and how they tick and what gets them going. And I think now everyone has kind of come together as a family, and they've, as Hannah was mentioning, feeding off each other.
Good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Wayzata gymnastics team, a win over Hopkins on Thursday night. They will take on Minnetonka later this week. And then again, the section meet for Wayzata and the other teams in Section 6AA coming up February 15th at Edina High School. We'll take a break and come back and wrap up Sports Jam after this timeout.
Our game of the week is a key game in Northwest Suburban boys basketball. Champlin Park, league leader, takes on second place Armstrong. Watch it live through our website at 12.tv and catch the replay Saturday night at 7 and 10 o'clock. And that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching Sports Jam.
We're back on our regular schedule next week. Watch for Sports Jam starting Monday.